Hey everybody, welcome to a special Sunday night R show. Yes, I'm combining the two shows since I will not be having any shows this Wednesday or the 21st and possibly the 25th. So tonight our special guest is Ronnie from Cape Cod.
Hello,
And,
everyone.
and of course I have Dwayne with me as the co-host.
Hello.
So, so Ronnie, for the I don't know millions of people that may not know who you are yet, would you like to give a little bit of intro?
Yeah, I'm just a guy that hustles for a living, making money every way I can. I mean, most of it comes from eBay, and that's where I love to put my flag. But, there's Amazon, there is Craigslist, Facebook groups that I belong to for specific items that I flip here and there. Um, and, yeah, that's about it. But, there's more ways to skin a cat. But eBay is where I lay my head for the most part. It's where I make the majority of my money.
So you probably say eBay is probably what 80% of your business between and Amazon and Facebook's the other 20.
Nah, eBay, because I kind of this summer I kind of stepped back from eBay a little bit right after May. I kind of just because summer's usually slow on eBay, and thrift stores slow down with what you get from them, and yard sales just were not that great this year. Estate sales were okay. So I kind of put my focus on other things. I said, okay, let me mess around with Amazon a little bit because Amazon, if everything goes right with my next plan, Amazon needs to be a bigger part of my business model. So I've been messing around with Amazon, and Facebook and Craigslist is more my passion, which is vintage advertising. Because things are so large, you could get rid of those kind of things more hand to hand. A 5-foot sign, a 6-foot sign, those things are easy. Yeah, I'm not sending those through the mail. I'm not building a crate for a 50-pound porcelain sign. It just doesn't make any sense. So I might buy something for $400, $500 and sell it for $900, $1,000, and it's all cash. Nobody's tracking those kind of things. In the Facebook groups, I actually do send people invoices and so on and so forth. So that part does get, because I just don't want PayPal to be seeing transactions of big money go back and forth. I always think, just for safety,
I would definitely say most PayPal is safer than sitting there saying send me a check or something like that. Because they can send you a fake check. They can send you.
No, because just PayPal, PayPal is very finicky, and maybe they think you're up to some illegal activity or something, and you just don't want to deal with that issue with dealing with that. You're a collector. You could buy and sell things that you collect if you're not making. It is what it is. Yeah, Barry. I mean, tax evasion. You fucking moron. You douchebag. There's always the one guy
Yeah,
has to try to be funny.
I wasn't even gonna read that comment because. Well, I do have a question. Well, the main question because I was gonna do the show originally about hitting 10,000 a month, as I told you before when I been trying to get you on for I don't know how many months. Or at least I wasn't pestering you. But how do you stay consistently between 8 and 10,000 a month on eBay when everybody else was complaining about no sales?
Well, this summer I averaged probably around 665. I think somewhere in that neighborhood. For the year I'm still averaging about 8,100. Last year I did 127, which just averages over 10 a year. I mean 10 a month. Sorry. And it comes down to probably like 55, 60% profit last year. I don't have the warehouse this year, so I don't really have to hustle as much. If I do 8 and I was doing 10 last year, I'm probably doing the same, if not a little better, because I don't have that $750 expense and another, it's another utilities and everything like that. It's another $250, so it's another $1,000. So, and I have 25% listings in my eBay store. I had 800 to 1,000, and I'm at 600 now. I think I just broke 600 like this week. So, and it's a lot of it's picking and buying and going after better quality stuff. It's constantly reevaluating how things sell and changing and saying, okay, this brand's not selling too much anymore. Yeah, I could get it for a few dollars, but it's not worth me sitting on it for a long period of time. So you constantly evaluating, looking for different things and so on and so forth.
We have
So
a
I
question.
was going to say, over time, how much is your price per item increased?
My price per item is still around the same, which is $50 to $60 per month, based on the month. 1 month it was about 40. Usually 1 month in the summer, usually July or August, it dips down even lower. It just doesn't seem like a lot of people want to buy higher dollar things for whatever reason. And high dollar things for me are a lot of winter jackets, a lot of sport coats and suits. I don't think people are looking to buy that stuff in the middle of summer. So I might sell more sports jerseys. I may sell more shoes. Though I do have some shoes that are high price. So people mess around with that price point more so. I'm not selling those higher dollar things, you know. So the average is a little lower.
Berta wanted to know how long did it take you to build a customer base, and do you have repeat customers?
Yeah, going by outright, which is how I take care of my bookkeeping. Usually I check it once a month. I actually have a whole stack of receipts and stuff I gotta plug in and make sure they're all in from a few weeks here. And most of it comes down to I'll check it every few often, and it's probably, I would say, on average 2 to 4% repeat buyers per month. I mean, you're not going to get a huge amount because people are going to be looking for specific sizes, you know, specific brands. You know, it'll be weird. I'll click on it and you could see someone bought 5 things from you in the past or 6 things from you. There's people from overseas that'll buy a bunch of different things from me, buy 5, 6, 7 things at one time, and I have to go in and change the shipping and everything like that to accommodate them, you know. So, you know, that's basically what it is. And I've been doing the clothing part, probably about 4 years now. I think I went, because I started off with electronics and parting stuff out, and then I dipped into clothing because I felt that market was getting too saturated for me. And I just wasn't finding the stuff, you know?
Right.
Well,
What did you say, Chris?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I don't know how many people remember. You sold or you found Vince McMahon's suits, or I think it was 2 of them.
I've found now 3. I found one about a month ago. Another one, really odd. They're made for Vince McMahon. They're all the same brand. I guess he likes Zegna and also Barioni. And it's really weird because there's other people on eBay both times that have had clothes listed from him too. So he must go through a lot of clothing. I mean, he's basically worked, what, $1 billion. So, you know, he buys stuff and probably wears it once or twice, and that's it. It gets donated after a while. There's another reseller close to me that she can't stand my guts. She found actually like 25 pairs of pants that were donated by him.
So does he live in your area or something that you know of, or does he just visit through Boston areas periodically, or what?
I think it's because I found him at the Salvation Army. They have a plant. He lives in New England area, Connecticut. It's a few hours from us, probably 3 hours. They have a central location probably where all the donations go, Salvation Army. And since Salvation Army distributes their stuff, you know, it's not like our store gets the stuff and they put it back on the racks. Their stuff gets spread out everywhere. So it's probably just, you know, wherever it goes, you know, it comes up. But I mean, I've seen people in Georgia selling his stuff and all kinds of things. If you look online right now, there's a few different people selling his suits and stuff like that.
How
Gotcha.
Before we get into another question, because I just shared one that I'm going to have Dwayne read in a second. But how many other famous people do you think you found items from?
That person, who else? I sold a suit a month ago, and somebody was telling me it was to, I seen it in the comments in the video. They looked it up. I tried to figure out who this person was, and I couldn't come up with anything. It was like Lord something or another. And I guess they were, I forgot now because I looked at Google, but they were kind of like a significant person in England. I found Jason Terry, basketball player, this real ugly sport coat. It was part of his two-piece suit. I was just the top. I thought, oh wow, this has to be good. I think I unloaded that for like $40 free shipping just to get rid of it. And I did pick up some larger suits. I think it was I'm trying to think of the guy, Chad Pennington, the Jets and Miami quarterback. But they sold because they were Zegna suits and they were extra long. They were like a 46 extra long or something. Well, anytime you get something that's a little bit different of a size, there's less competition. So those sold. I didn't get a premium for them or anything like that, but a lot of time you just don't get a premium because it's by somebody. It has to be somebody's interested in and going after, you know, like Michael Jordan maybe or LeBron James. But you get the guy riding the pine at the 12th on the bench. Nobody cares.
Go ahead, Dwayne. I'll let you read the Silver Hair Stacker's question first.
Okay, she says, Ronnie, would you guess that your customers have a larger income than you?
I don't know if it has anything to do with larger income or not. I guess it's just based on, like, what you want to, you know, you're trying to find something to save money, most likely. That's why you're on eBay. Maybe you work in a used car lot, or you work in selling cars or the law office. You want a nice, really suit, but you don't want to spend $2,000 on that suit. You're going to look on eBay, you're going to find something, and it's $100, $200, and hey, that might work for me, and you're going to buy it because you're saving yourself money in the long run. You know, I can't judge what kind of income. I mean, I can give them a survey if they want to know. Fill this information out. It's like when you go to an RV show or something, they win a prize, and you're filling all this information, and then you're getting phone calls every week for next year.
Right, right. You want a free trip to Las Vegas. You can go on Wednesday the 3rd, and that's it. Berta Bell also asks, do you list as bundles, like several large or similar brands?
I do like lots of stuff or so on and so forth. And sometimes I have luck with it, sometimes I don't. It just all depends. It just depends. Like if I'm in a store and I find a bunch of, like, I've done this in the past, like Joseph A. Bank dress shirts. They're not really worth much. Worth $10, $15, but I'm finding them for $1.50. Maybe they were asking $3. They're down to $1.50 on half off day, and I find like 6 of them in a row. It's kind of like in my head, like, okay, I can buy these. These cost me $9. I'll lot them all together. Maybe I'll get $80. You know, you kind of have to think a little bit outside the box. I'm only paying shipping one time instead of picking up, wrapping that thing. But they got to be the same size, and you got to make sure that too. You can't be lotting up a 2X with a 3X and a 4X shirt and so on and so forth.
Right.
Dwayne, why don't we do some shout-outs if you want? Before I go into the next.
Oh, excuse me. All right, let's do some shout-outs. Berta Bell, we've already answered a couple of her questions. Henry's in the chat. Let's see, who else? We got Going On Grumpy. Swamp Picker, Glenn, how are you? Amelia. Tanya. 9 Volt. Yvonne Flippin' Easy is in there. Thomas Francis. Lori Hoover. Sharking Mom Deals. I saw Margaret poked her head in. Oh, Chris Nice is here. Silver Hair Stacker, of course, since we just answered one of her questions. The Crazy Car, the same crew that always is here. This is good. Like I said, there's Margaret Krillin, Turtle Trader. I think that's it. So yeah, same old crew, you know.
Yep. Well, we're actually at 45 viewers, so that's pretty. And Thrift Daddy says you're missing the
Thrift Daddy
Patriots
says you're
game.
missing. Yeah, he doesn't like the Patriots.
A Chargers fan, and unfortunately, the Chargers coughed it up today. They were up 24-3, and they find a way to cough it up every week. Damn team. It doesn't help that they lost.
Who was it? The Chiefs?
Yeah. Damn Chiefs.
So divisional.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Any division game sucks, especially when Oakland's going to be better than they are. And what's the other team in the division?
Denver.
Denver. I don't know how Denver won the other night. If I was a betting person, I would have loaded up on that game. No different than I would be loading up on Arizona tonight. Be like, yo, 10 racks. I want that money back.
That's right. That's
But
right.
that's why they play football, because that's why they have lines, because people win and lose on those.
Right. So.
Well, Ronnie, who would you say does? What's the percentage, I should say, between you and Gretchen doing work for your business?
I don't know if there's a percentage-wise. I've been doing a lot of the sourcing lately. My wife does help, but she's been busy with a lot of other things. So mostly her job of late has been just photographing the stuff for me, which is good, because that's the one thing I hate. That when I did this full-time and she was coming along with me to do this full-time, that was the one thing. That and organizing stuff, because I'm not good at organizing. I'm the kind of guy that throw it in the corner and then I sell it, and I'm trying to flip through 50 sport coats to try to figure out which one it is. You know, so it's one of those things. You know, so it helps me with my two weaknesses. You know, and I planned at one time to like rent the warehouse next to us, because there was another unit, and knock down the wall. But problem was that we just kept on getting into issues with the damn stupid ceiling and stuff like that, and in the cold and the heat, we could never get it right. There wasn't the proper location for a reselling business.
I see another question from Berta. Sorry. She says, Ronnie, when was in your selling career did you notice any large jumps in sales, and what do you attribute that to?
I think my biggest thing is I'm always researching on my own. I don't rely on anybody else's info or data. It's not like I was going around when I started YouTube, there wasn't anybody talking about clothing. I think me and Ricken started at the same time, and we used to bounce a lot of stuff off of each other all the time. And it was kind of good. We were like, oh, see this brand? I never seen this before, so on and so forth, back and forth. And I think that was good when you're first starting out. He's went many different ways since then. And I've kind of stayed where I am, and I'm happy. You know, I only need to make so much money. I got to make like $4,000 a month to survive. So if I can get that number, I'm good. But I think the biggest jump was when I went into clothing. And the only thing I contribute to that is researching on my own, constantly researching, you know. And I used to watch, people always talk about watching haul videos. But I would be there with a piece of paper and pen, actually taking notes and then looking on eBay myself, because not everybody's information is correct. And then you'll be surprised, you find everybody's damn stores too. And you really start seeing if they're making what they say they're making, or they really make sense. You know, there's a lot of people, oh, I make 10, 12,000, and you look at their store and you're like, yeah, it's a lot of $10 items to get to 10,000. You know, but people do it. But there's a lot of people that bullshit their way there too.
So how are you going to ramp up your business, or are you pretty happy where you're at? I mean, do you plan on? Fourth quarter now. We are in the process of ramping it back up. I've told my wife that the idea is to list at least 250 a month, which comes to like 8 a day, I believe. And this month we've only listed about 5.5 a day. So I gotta just pick it up a little bit, and we'll be good. It's just different because I you know, Amazon's picking up now too, so I gotta dump into Amazon a little bigger and a little harder. And I've never really messed with Amazon fourth quarter.
I've looked at it from afar, watched others, and I think this year I'm willing to play with it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
We have a question from Mike. Crazy Cards said, you said you want to make Amazon a bigger part. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where I see myself in 5 years? It's like a job interview. It's like one of the questions they gave you in a job interview. It's like, I'm a chef. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I don't know, cooking probably. I'd always get defenseful when they said that question. I mean, I really don't know because I have different ideas. It's not like my business is going to dictate whatever I do. I still see myself reselling in one form of a way. You know, it might not be clothing. It might be, I might go back to cars, or maybe I don't know, maybe I change it up and do Amazon 100%. You never know. You know, I think life dictates more where you're going to be in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could say where I want to be, but I don't know where that's going to be. You know, Amazon could, I mean, eBay could close tomorrow. That'd throw a wrench into my plans.
Sure. Well, given no, you know, life-changing things, where do you want to be? Do you want to be like 80% Amazon, 20% eBay at some point, or are you pretty happy with your split now?
I just want to be comfortable. I just want to live comfortable and be happy, and probably, if anything, travel more. That's probably my biggest thing. And that's why probably Amazon will play a little bit bigger part of my business in the future. Just depends on what happens with Amazon and, you know, with all these different things going on, you know, that they're doing to see how it shakes out, you know. Because you know, like any platform, you're not selling, you're technically working for somebody else.
Yeah, definitely their playground.
Mr. Chad has shown up finally.
Who's he? Who's Chad?
Golden Finger Pick, you know.
Never heard of the guy. He must be a new YouTuber. Hey, Chad, first time watching?
Berta says you had mentioned in a previous.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say you had mentioned in a previous video that you were blocked from Amazon. How long did it take you to recover from that?
I wasn't blocked. I was just kicked off. I mean, basically, I wasn't following rules correctly. I mean, some of it was my fault. Some of it was I had gotten into it with a seller, and they kind of tried to screw me. And, you know, Amazon kind of seen that, but I still got hit with an A to Z claim, 2 A to Z claims from somebody. I argued with the problem with Amazon is you don't talk to anybody directly. You know, really, it's really hard to get somebody on the phone. It's constantly these damn video chat or voice chats, or you know what I'm saying, chats over the thing. It's very hard to talk to anybody. I mean, I was suspended for like 2 years. It was supposed to be only a 90-day suspension, and one day I just sent them a letter, and I sent them a letter like every 6 months, and it was like I would request another letter, and they were like, they would send me the form to, and I'd, you know, make them a little thing, and all of a sudden one day it's like, you've been approved, and I was like, I almost fell on my chair because I wasn't expecting it.
Sounds like a parole or parole hearing or something.
I was like, you know, so I've been very tentative, but it's been about 1.5 years, and you know, it's been good. There's certain things that they look for, but for the most part, I mean, Amazon does not give out second chances too often. Once it's people paying for that. You know, people pay companies to get them back on there all the time. But it's like, if you, maybe I should have been kicked off because I wasn't following the rules. You know, I was lucky enough to get a second chance.
Would you think of trying other sites? Say eBay or Amazon did kick you off again. Would you try selling on Bonanza or other sites like that, or would you just look locally and try selling stuff, Facebook and stuff like that?
I think Bonanza's never going to take off. I'm sorry. Any of you Bonanza sellers. I mean, if it's not on eBay, I mean, Bonanza's just not going to, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Etsy, it just depends on what you're selling. Etsy's a whole different, you know, genre of stuff. I think I would have to kind of just go into something. I mean, I think I'd have to sell all my chips and go into something I know more, like cars, or go all in on vintage advertising, which if you ever look at the price of that stuff, it's like buying cars. It's not much.
Well, since Chad's here, I was going to ask this anyway, but if you had to, could you see yourself doing the quick flip model to survive? Or are you too used to the high end, like long tail, waiting for the right amount for an item?
You know what? Business changes can always change based on what your needs are at that moment. If something changes and I think to myself, well, maybe I should do something different, or my business model, your business model is what works for you at that moment. But we all know business models change with what the needs are at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, if someone's going to turn your power off in a few days and you know you need to get money, guess what? You're becoming a quick flipping business person real fast. Or if you need 10 grand to make something happen. You know, so it all depends. Like, if you need 10 grand in a month and you're still sitting back going, nah, I'm waiting it out for that top dollar, you're stupid. You are stupid. I'm sorry. I'd be auctioning shit off left and right, or whatever it took. I'd be putting best offer and accepting anything that looked decent.
Let's see, I'm still not seeing any other questions yet.
No.
But Chad responded by saying that yes, you can. That you've done quick flips, and he also comes back saying quick flip doesn't always mean desperate.
I'm not saying it means desperate. Chad has a different business model and does different things. I necessarily don't agree that Chad is technically a quick flipper. I think he finds stuff that is in more demand than most people do. You find stuff that is in need or is harder to find or in better condition, it's going to sell faster than somebody picking up some damn Ralph Lauren shirt that there's 15,000 used ones on eBay. Yeah, it might sell in that first day, but most likely you'll be sitting on it. You know, but Chad gets a reel-to-reel player that there's one on there. Guess what? That has a higher probability of selling. Try getting that word out for some reason. I don't know.
Go ahead, when you do Turtle Trader's question.
Turtle Trader asked, do you have more than one store subscription?
No, everything's thrown in one store. I have a hard enough time keeping up with one eBay account. I mean, I have another account that I buy on sometimes, but even then I forget to buy on it. I buy it or I make offers on stuff with my other one. People, I think, look all of a sudden who it's from is like, huh? You want to buy my shit to reflip it, don't you?
And I think Krillin's trying to make a little joke with you, saying, time to get back to the restaurant business.
Any time. I mean, I do love cooking. That's one thing I do love. I'm not gonna lie. It was not bad work. I mean, shit, I was making very good money. The problem is, it wasn't good on my knees. I need knee surgery. You know, I am a little heavier guy, so guess what? It is more of a struggle to, you know, go 8, 10, 12, 15 hours in a day. And I did that with no problem. I keep up with people, you know, all day long because that's what I enjoy. But once I stop working, once I like, you sit down, you're done. It's hard to get back going.
So we obviously know that you're relatively successful. How many hours do you put in, do you figure, a week to keep your model running? Right
now, you know, over the summer it was probably only 20, 25 hours. Now that I'm going to ramp it back up, get to fourth quarters here, I want to take advantage. You know, it's probably going to go back to 40 hours or even more. It's going to be whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. If I have to work 60, 70, 80 hours, guess what? I'll do it. You know? I mean, it's what I love to do.
I was just curious, on average, roughly how much you put in. I mean, because some people, they'll work 80 hours on their business, and then some people, pick and choose at 10 hours.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why I choose the business model I have of going after higher dollar items. You know, I went to 10 thrift stores the other day and it took me about 8 hours, and I only found like 21 things. And 2 of the things I'm not even going to resell after it because they're flawed, and I'm going to return them. That I didn't see it at the stores. So I look for a higher dollar thing because I don't, that's just the way I built my business to work. Less work, I think. If I had to take up, if I'm selling at a $50 average, somebody's selling at a $10 average, they have to find and source and picture and list 5 things to make my one thing. And that's a lot of work when you put it in that way of looking at it. And there's nothing wrong whatever business plan you've got. It's whatever you find around you.
That's going to be one of my next questions, but I want to read Berta Bell's question. She says, do you take and list measurements on all of your items, even if they have large, small written already in the tag?
Everything gets measurements. Everything. It's just, I hate getting questions about measurements. I tried it for a while to list stuff quicker, but it only takes me a minute to probably take the measurements and add it into my listing than it would be for me to dig that item out, find it, then give somebody the measurements, and guess what? Next month somebody's going to ask me again maybe for that item. And I think when you put the measurements, there's a less chance of getting a return. Maybe you're helping someone because all brands fit differently. A lot of Ralph Lauren stuff fits big. But if you're getting stuff like Robert Graham or a lot of those certain casual shirts, they fit smaller. So you constantly, I just put measurements in there. I just think it's a time-saving thing.
And not to mention that, vintage clothing is an extra large 20 years ago is not what an extra large is now.
Very true.
But the obvious question that we always ask every reseller ever, what was your biggest flip?
I mean, the last 4 years, my biggest flip probably was selling cast iron frying pan. I picked up Griswold rare and size 13, number 13 cast iron frying pan. I seen it at a estate sale in the pictures. Knew what it was, kind of had a ballpark idea of what it was worth, about $500. I thought. I picked it up, paid $75. I get home, I do more research. It's actually worth $1,000 to $2,000. I listed it, and I sat on an offer overnight of $1,400. And then in the morning, I seen I didn't get another offer. I just accepted the $1,400. I just like, okay, 75 into 1,400 in a day. I'll take it.
And that's not a bad flip. Good return on investment there.
Well, before we get to the other question, I was going to ask you, because of where you live, it's safe to say you're more in an affluent part of the country. Do you think you'd still be able to make $8,000 to $10,000, say, if you were in the middle of the country, not where everybody's going to be spending the money?
It's funny because we've talked about going to move back home to Cooperstown, New York, and guess what? There's 2 thrift stores within 60 miles. So my whole game plan would change. Either I'm going to be taking trips out of town, finding stuff for a few days, kind of like the picker life does, or there's auctions in that. There's 10 auctions within 30 miles. I'm going to start hitting auctions. I'm going to change how I do something, but I'm still going to make money. There's money to be made. It doesn't mean I have to be selling clothes to make money. There's other ways to skin that cat.
Okay. Latin Pickers asks, any plans on hiring employees in the future?
No. I've never got to that point. Like I said, the only time I did think about it was when the warehouse space next to ours came available. But then the light went on that we were unhappy with the space. So it's like, why are you going to try to grow your business in a space you're unhappy with? Right. So I dropped the idea at that moment and just said, okay, let's switch gears for a little while and go that way.
Okay.
Texas Gal Treasure wants to know, other than clothes, what else do you really enjoy selling?
I like vintage advertising. Is something I really enjoy doing. I just love the hunt. Going to estate sales, I love that part. I know most people are scared of estate sales. I actually enjoy going to them. It's fun. But, there's always the chance that it's going to be something, whatever you want, it's going to be too high priced. Or you could be the third person in line. Guess what? The guy number one got the item that you wanted. So, it's kind of it's always like a game of lottery sometimes. You just never know what's going to happen.
Okay.
Let's see. We got another. Krillin asks, have you ever flipped a fur coat?
I've never. I don't know enough about it. I've seen them, but it's something about a fur coat that I don't have no interest in. I flipped a fake fur coat that our landlord gave us at the warehouse because he does he helps price for estate sales company. So one day he gave us a bunch of clothing and stuff. It was a vintage like fake fur coat, and I looked it up and it was like $75. I was like, it's free. Take pictures. Let's put it on. And believe it or not, it sold like in a month. I was like, oh shit. But that was closest I've come to a fur coat. I don't know, something about fur coat. I just don't know enough.
Right.
Margaret, Texas Gal Treasure, asks, if you could prank another YouTuber, who would it be, and what would you do?
I would get Chad because Chad's tried to mess with me a few different times. So I'm not going to say how it would be because it's probably I'm going to get him at one time or another, and I'm not going to let him know.
Still in the planning.
But he's going to get his revenge is best served cold.
Uh-oh, and Chad says, no!
Let's see. Berta Bell asks, what is your best advice on what to do to speed up your listing?
When I do my listings, like today when I did my listings, I listed 11 sport coats. So I list them one after the other. I have an idea of what I'm going to price them at already. So I just go in there. I have a template for sport coats. I just change the words around, put new pictures, and then get to the next one. Sell similar. It's already there. I just change some words around, put in a few different things, and change. I mean, I was watching football all day, so it was just fun anyway. It wasn't like, I wasn't in a rush, but I wanted to get I got 18 done today. So, and then I'll do like casual shirts all together, or dress shirts all together, or pants all together. Because I think if you start jumping around, let me do this sport coat, or let me do this shirt, and then you go back to a sport coat, it's like, why would you do that? I just think that's the easiest way.
I agree with you. I think batching is important. It just makes it a lot easier than like you're saying, you don't make as many mistakes, use the same template, change a few words, and then you can go right to a different kind of batch.
See, that's the word I like, batching. I didn't think of that word.
Thelma asks, are men's extra small sizes good sellers as well as like triple XL sizes? So are some super small sizes good sellers like triple large sizes are?
Yeah, I mean, I've had luck with extra small sizes. I mean, the ones that tend to take a little longer to sell are the mediums and the large, or like in suits like the 42, anything regular. It just seems like there's 10,000. It just seems like that's the normal size man. And there's just a lot of it out there. You have to be super competitive on that stuff. Like I was talking to someone, I have Brioni jackets that were 40, 48 long, and they all sold fairly quickly. I had like 6 of them. But then I have a 44 short. It's kind of a weird size, and it's sat for... I've sold it once, and it came back as a return. I was like, damn you!
It looks like Henry has a question. With Ralph Lauren polo sold that you have had.
I mean...
Exactly what he's saying. Sure what the question is, part of that.
He loves that.
Hey,
Polar
yeah, Henry,
question.
reformat that question because it doesn't quite make sense to us.
Yeah, that's. I wasn't sure if you saw it earlier. That's why I just copied it. I was like, I don't know how to
Yeah.
word it. I do have to see another question. Wait, where was it? Yeah. Vaughn wants to know: are you going to have time to continue your YouTube series on brands?
You know, I started that. That became a lot of work because I'm trying. I mean, you know, just from me looking at it as a content creator, I started that. I had fun with it, but what I found myself is it takes me about an hour or two because I want to make sure I have the right information when I'm talking about a brand. I know about brands, but I want to make sure I'm 100% right before saying, oh, this or that, you know. So I had to do a lot of research. Then I had to make the video. Sometimes I made a mistake. I had to reshoot a video again. And when I looked at my videos, they weren't getting a lot of views for, say, my other videos. So I thought, you know, some people may love them, but actuality, I don't think a lot of people cared for them really too much. So it wasn't a big, huge thing for me to waste my time, unfortunately, on them. I may do them again. You know, it's just when the summer started coming, between moving back in the spring and then, you know, summer coming, it was just I ran out of time. I mean, I don't put a lot of videos outside of the live show that we do once a week. It's just time is the biggest issue at this moment. I do plan on making more videos. We have all these funny little cameras and stuff that we got, but I just haven't had time. We even got editing software and stuff like that for the wife because she wants to be more involved. But, you know, just finding time. Time is the biggest problem.
Sure. We have a couple of questions coming in crazy. Like, Margaret wants to know, what do you do for fun?
Travel. Travel, I mean, that's what I do. I mean, my wife loves to watch movies and stuff like that. I mean, but traveling is that one thing that I just enjoy doing. You know, if it's going to Maine or going to back home to New York or going to Connecticut for a few days or going to the Dominican Republic. It's just what I enjoy doing.
And we got a question from Daniel Accurate. I think he might be a new viewer. So welcome to the show. He asks, do you check every piece of clothing or can you spot good pieces like this out of the blue?
When I'm going through the sport coats and suit specialty, I will look for things that look like a sport coat. I kind of, especially if it's like in the sport coat section, anything that looks like it could belong to a suit, I don't even mess with it. I don't even look. Because suit tops, you know, without the pants, they don't sell. They're like a fashion no-no. Nobody wants an off-and-off suit jacket. So I'll go buy them. I look for different colors, bright colors, stuff like that. Nice patterns, so on and so forth. And sometimes I'll just look at the tags, and I don't even open the thing all the way. I can tell by the neck tag on a sport coat or a suit if it's a decent pickup or not. I see made in China, most likely I'm going right by it. Or unless it looks like it might be somewhat quality. If I see made in somewhere in Europe or somewhere different, I may take a closer look at it. Or if it feels different, I may take a closer look at it. You know.
Okay. Berta Bell wants to know, what resellers inspires you? Do you still follow other people's videos? If yes, who?
I mean, I do follow other people's videos when they put out videos. I mean, probably the two biggest people that I follow right now is that every time they put a video out, I watch it, is either Picker Life or I can't think of his name, Craigslist Hunter. You know, they're just, you know, most other people, I mean, I'll watch them here or there, but you only get so many hours in a day, so you can't watch everybody's videos, unfortunately. You know, every once in a while, like today, I listened to a bunch of different ones, you know, but it's different because I was listening. I was, you know, trying to watch the game, listen to stuff. You know, it doesn't always work out. Giants and Cowboy games, I'm not a Cowboy fan. I hate the Cowboys more than anything in the world. So it's really hard for me to watch that game. And when I thought they might win that game, I was like, oh, this sucks. I turned it off. I was like, forget this.
Well, before we get to the next question, I know I did it back when you did a video about it, but I want to thank you on the air for giving me the shout out that you did, because it's like you did it as it was a surprise to me when people said, Chris, you get this shout out. I was like, huh? So I clicked the link and it was your videos. And
yeah, I did that because a lot of people ask me, like, who do I follow? And it's a question that comes along, like, weekly. You know, and instead of typing everybody, I just refer them to that video, like, hey, I did a video. And there's certain people I follow. Some people haven't made videos in a while, and, you know, some people I really enjoy their videos more than others. You know, it just depends. I mean, Rake and Profit can put out 10 videos, and I may only choose to watch one of them, you know, because he gets me with the title. And sometimes damn clickbait. You got me with the skunk one. Good thing it was short. That's all I had to say.
Let's see. Yvonne asked, does it bother you if your fans and Facebook groups follow your store?
I don't think it cares. I don't think it matters one way or the other. I mean, you know, you're making videos. I put my store in my videos. You know, what is it going to matter? I don't think it's a huge deal on one way or the other. I think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't bother me. You can watch all you want. Maybe you'll buy something. I doubt it, but always wishful thinking.
well, we got a comment from, I want to just read quick, from Scotty eBay blog, says, I don't watch Ronnie videos, I study them.
That's pretty good. I remember back when you weren't even in front of the camera. Way back when you were selling, like, once in a while you'd just throw on some clothes, but you were selling board games and some shoes here and there. But that was a long time ago when you first started YouTube, I think.
Yeah, I was fearful to get in front of the damn camera. I did not want no part to do with that camera.
And now look at you, weekly shows.
Yeah, now you just can't get rid of him. He's everywhere.
I'll
see.
stop,
Texas got. Oh,
I'll stop making YouTube. I'll stop making the live shows when when the live views stop, and that's just the way I put it. I mean, as long as people want to see a show, I'll put it out. But when the last two Picker Churches, we've had over 200 live viewers on both shows, so it's kind of telling me that, and they were our two biggest shows. So it's, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? It's just, people want to watch it. People want to watch it. You know, if I start seeing a decline and people don't want to see me, then I'll know to hang it up and retire.
Texas Gal Treasures wants to know, where was your favorite destination? So you like to travel. What was your favorite destination?
You know what? In the U.S., it's Maine. I love Maine. Southern Maine is very nice. Massachusetts is very nice. That's why we live here. Outside of the U.S., so far it's been the Dominican Republic. But I think I've been all over that island. There's like one area that we haven't been to yet. And it's a very beautiful island. But you also have to remember, like anything, it's a third world country, and there is some flaws that, coming from America, you have to get used to. As I lived there for a while. It's not bad. It's not what you would think it is, you know.
And have you traveled throughout the United States or mostly on the East Coast?
I've been to, like, California, but only on a plane. I've been mostly the East Coast, anywhere up and down 95. A few different times. We lived in Florida for a while. We lived in New York. I mean, you know.
Okay, okay. Question from Jason. What's up, Ronnie? What's the best way you have found to source vintage advertising in Cape Cod? Do you ever buy online to flip on eBay or local?
The problem with eBay is it just seems like there's a lot of either fake stuff. I hate auctions too. There's a lot of, especially with smaller signs on eBay, there's a lot of reproduction stuff and things like that. So you have to be really careful of what you're getting into. Don't buy anything from India. And sometimes the deal is just too good to be had. If there's not a lot of people bidding on it, try to figure out why. Most of the stuff comes from just Craigslist. Still is the easiest way to get it. Or sometimes I have an ad up on Craigslist and people contact me. Sometimes they want the moon for what they got. And sometimes it's reasonable. They're just looking for cash now. Can you get it? You know? And sometimes I'm just too lazy. I was too lazy over the winter on a sign, and it had some paint on it. But, you know, it's porcelain. You use some cleaner, you're going to get the paint off. It's going to take a little bit of muscle. And I was just lazy. I wasn't feeling that day. I didn't want to drive into New Hampshire. It was like a 3-hour drive. And I was trying to get a friend to go get it. And I kind of like dropped the ball a little bit. Someone else got it in that meantime. But it was a $350 sign. I probably could have got $1,500 for it if I would have sold it.
Before we get to Kyle's question, Henry had another question, and I think I figured it out. He wants to know what the best vintage sign was that you sold.
I've sold a few right in that 800 to 1,000 range. Right in there. There's a Texaco, there's a Mobile Oil. But most of the good signs I still have. I have probably 15, 20 signs.
So you actually collect that stuff as well as sell it?
Yeah. I don't know what I have it. It was in our warehouse, and now that I still keep buying it. Like I have to get a sign actually in California that's sitting there at Square Deal's house because we bought it for me at a flea market because it was a great deal, and then we realized that it could only go freight. And it's like $500. I'm like, no, I'm take the $500 and drive there and gas and pick it up. Like that's ridiculous. So
other than that kind of advertising, is there anything else you collect? I mean, do you have something that you really just like watches or something you're passionate about?
Vintage RC stuff, especially Tamiya. I got a bunch of that stuff. You know, I do find some of it here and there, but most of it it's just like Rudy, New York Hustle. He found one a few years ago, and then he gave it to me for a really good price, and because he didn't really have any idea what it was, I did. And, he was looking to sell it to me. And, I do the same thing to him. I sold him a Lifesaver for a really good price. It's the thing. Sometimes you're picking something and you run across something that's good for somebody else. And, you know what, your thing is to help out your friend, but you want to make a little bit of money on it too.
Sure, yeah. Sometimes it's great to be in the network. Just different people want different things, and yeah, like you said, you can skim a little meat off and then still leave some for them to make on the big side.
Yeah, I think we went about like 40% of value probably on different things. Nice. You don't want to kill yourself to where you're feeling like, damn, I'm giving away this home run. Like, you want to still get a little something, but you want to give your friend a good deal.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Yard Sale Hunter asks, how can you tell what hats are worth good money?
There's very few hats that bring really good money these days. That was a fad that was big probably 5-6 years ago. It kind of, well, even though 3 years ago you could sell some really good money hats, but that kind of market's kind of died off. You couldn't give those hats away a few years ago. And then all of a sudden the people was getting them $100, $200 for these things. And then they start, I think that market is dipped down a little bit now. Like it's come back to earth, like everything. Everything has an up and down, I think vintage sports clothing in general, like the starter stuff, all that kind of stuff is kind of slowed down. Like it's all combined together with the sports hats. Sports specialty, and there's certain styles of sports specialties that bring really good money. The script style is one of them. You just have to put in different hats and actually, just search for them, pull sports specialty snapback, and then look for the ones that have sold for really good money. Used, because you rarely come across them new. I came across a bunch earlier at a state sale, which I was kind of surprised. And came into this room and there's hats everywhere. I'm like, oh, where do we start? But most of them weren't really worth much, and I was getting them for like $2.
That's where you just walk in and say, okay, I'll give you $45 for all of them.
No, I don't want to be stuck with a bunch of things that I'm giving away for, that it comes into the thing. There was a bunch of hats there that probably would have only sold for $5. I don't want to be stuck with those hats.
Yeah,
I don't want to be stuck selling those either.
Well, I'm gonna ask this one question based on Vaughn's comment, and we're gonna be getting close to the hour. I don't know if you want to spend a little extra or not. It's up to you.
We can go about 15 extra, 15, 20, but cut it off after that.
Okay, 'cause I know you like to end your show when it hits the hour. You're like, okay, it's over.
I think I just get my concentration's not there to stay focused long enough,
Well, Vaughn made a comment. I wanted to get your opinion on it, hence the last question. The new updates pending might help with free pops having to be properly categorized. Thank goodness. What are your thoughts on eBay's wanting to do that?
I don't know if it's going to be a big thing with signs because people sell them as used. I mean, it has to do with new, and the way a lot of people get away with it is selling it as art. That's how they get away with it. And eBay's not really concerned with that market. Do you have Texaco or do you have mobile saying, hey, you can't sell this sign? And they're not going to do it because it's vintage items. You know what I'm saying? If you see this red funky rust on things, it's not good. If you see, look at the colors and stuff like that. There's easy ways to tell, especially the pump signs. The ones that go on the pumps, the smaller signs, they're almost all repops on eBay. Like, it's crazy how many are. They're all like Hobby Lobby junk. People throw manure or something, or chip at it with a disc sander or something. They try ways to make it look old.
I guess everybody's hearing a cricket from somewhere.
I don't think it's my place. Maybe.
I know I'm not hearing one here, so they outside with their warehouses and their ears.
It's all in their minds.
No, that's maybe because I have the screen doors open behind me. When I took my headphones off, I hear that they're outside, but I think they're just sound almost like a frog.
All right, let's see. Kyle asked if you have any items that you consider needles in the haystack or hidden gems that you can find commonly and bring you a decent amount of profit, what would it be?
I don't think there's anything that other people don't know about. There's like little bread and butter things that I find here and there that sell fairly decently, but they're all commonly known stuff.
Sure. All right, here's a question for you. Out of all the brands you've ever sold, what brand have you sold the most of?
Probably Brooks Brothers or Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
Even though that they're not the greatest brands, there's a lot of different sub-brands and a lot of different things that do command some decent money out of them, and they're bread and butter items.
Right, exactly. That's what I was kind of getting at, is bread and butter items.
Okay, with the Ralph Lauren, how often do you find a purple label compared to a black?
I think I found like one sport coat, maybe 2 suits, and 10 shirts, 15 shirts maybe. I mean, it's not a huge common thing, and the purple label stuff is not even bringing the money it used to. I mean, the problem is you got a regular Ralph Lauren shirt you can get for $80 to $100 in the stores, and then because they put a purple label on it, they're trying to get $400 retail for it, for a dress shirt. Now, most of the time, that shirt doesn't sell anywhere near $400 probably. I mean, I see them at Marshall's for $100 sometimes. So that's part of the issue, I think, was like secondary department stores like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Ross, bringing down the clothing prices because they all get crazy high-end brands now. We have a TJ Maxx bias, and you can get, it's like off the runway. They have Brioni. They have all these certain different brands that they have, and it's unreal that you can Kite and you can get Laurel Piana, but they're priced like 30% of retail, so if you could get them there, it's going to drive down the price somewhere else, and unfortunately, eBay's that other place.
Okay. Dwayne, I'll let you read silver hair stackers question, and I think that might be our last one for tonight, because I think that's what you're about to copy, isn't it? Yep.
I'm working on getting it in there. So Silver
Well,
Hair
that was our
Stacker
last
said
one tonight.
this will be the last question. You said.
Yeah, because it's already on the hour, and I
Okay.
want to do a little after hour.
Okay.
Show.
Ronnie, do you sell women's purses like Dooney Bork? I find them at estate sales often.
See, I've never really messed with purses too much. I think I've sold like 3 purses. I think one was like a Brighton or something like that, and the other was a it was like made of python. I can't think of the name of it. Belcialaga or something like that. It's really extremely high-end because we got like $350 for it. I think it retailed for like $2,000. We got that off a Craigslist deal with a bunch of other things. I think I got it for like $50 from the lady, or maybe even cheaper. And she just everything else she had was real. She thought it was actually alligator. I was there saying alligator lady. I think it's python. You know, I wasn't 100% sure. I could tell it was not like leather or something like that, but it was like, this is not alligator. I've sold alligator shoes before. Yes, that's it, Krillin.
Yeah,
I have no idea how to say that word.
Balenciaga. Yeah. Why can't they just make it easy to say, right? All these weird names.
Yo, watch my old videos. People are correcting me on the names. I'm like, really?
Yeah, well, like I said, I remember your old videos where you tried to say now that EZ.
Mildo. I have no idea.
Yeah, everybody said it different. It was funny. So I just, EZ. That's screw it. I don't even try anymore. All right, go ahead.
With that question being asked, I want to thank everybody for watching. We will have a little bit of an after show. I don't know for how long. Ronnie said he'll be staying for 15-20 for the show, so maybe he'll stay that long for an after show. And I want to thank Dwayne for coming on and co-hosting on our special Sunday night show. And
Very
Ronnie,
good.
definitely thank you for coming on. Like I said, it was fun. It wasn't necessarily fun trying to get you on, but I'm glad that you were able to do the last one I had on before my break, since I won't be on until at least the 25th, possibly, which is in 2 weeks. So there will be no show the next 2 Wednesdays. Maybe Chad will take over those 2 nights for a week for your entertainment. But we'll do a little bit of an after show, and I want to thank everybody again for watching, and we will talk to you when I get back.
All right, thanks. Thanks for having me. Bye.